Hey, 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 it's Monday, and this week we're talking about the mental load. All that stuff you carry, whether you plan to or not. Why you do this and the impact it has on you. And today's episode is a story to paint the scene for you. Welcome to Unshakable Her, where we believe that building your confidence and influence doesn't require a personality transplant, just a few resourceful little habits and someone in your corner. That someone is me. I'm Caroline Esterson. Let's get into it. So before we dig in, let me share with you what today's episode is all about. I appreciate that you lend me your ears 3 times a week, so I want to make sure that you're clear about how this time is going to help you. So firstly, if you're a woman who holds everything together well, you're going to feel seen in a way that you maybe haven't got the words for yet. You know, that bone-tired feeling that has no specific crisis attached to it. There isn't a big event, nothing dramatic is happening. Just the weight, that sheer weight of holding everything together constantly for everyone. This episode names it properly, and naming it changes something. Then you're going to understand more about your brain, the way it's wired, and why you're doing 7 things at once, and what it's costing your career. And finally, you're never going to look at a meeting the same way ever again once you see the difference between what you're carrying and what your male colleague is carrying in the same room, at the same level, on the same money. You can't unsee it. On Wednesday, then we're going to talk about what to do with it. You ready for it all? Let's get to it. It's 6:43 a.m. and Jazz is awake, not because her alarm went off, because her brain did. It doesn't ease into the morning gently with, a small stretch and a, yawn. It arrives, lights flashing, fully loaded, mid-sentence, already 3 problems deep. Ruby's school trip permission slip, not signed. Where is it? Kitchen drawer, maybe? No? Oh, fruit ball, maybe. Did I put it in a bag? I didn't. I need to do that before 8. What time does the coach leave? I didn't check. I should check. I'll check after I... don't know about you, but that's exhausting. Already, before she's even opened her eyes, before she's touched her phone, before her feet have even hit the floor. That invisible spreadsheet is open, the tabs are running, and Jazz is managing. Steve's also awake. Steve, on the other hand, is lying on his back next to her, blinking at the ceiling. He's thinking about breakfast, specifically whether there's enough milk for cereal. For his cereal. Not whether there's enough to go around, just his, that's it. That's the whole thought. One thing, clean, contained, fully occupying the available space. And here's the thing, and this is important, so stay with me. Steve isn't lazy. He'd be horrified if he knew what was happening on the other side of the bed right now. He'd say, why didn't you just ask me? And he'd mean it completely, but that's exactly the point. Because Jazz isn't running the spreadsheet because she enjoys it. She's running it because in her brain, shaped by years of being the one who noticed, the one who was asked, the one who stepped up when the gap appeared, there is no off switch. There is no version of waking up where the tabs are closed and she can choose to open them gently, slowly, one by one. Oh no, that's not how it works for Jazz. Steve's brain is a single, clean browser window. One tab, loads fast, runs smoothly. Jazz's brain is 47 tabs, 8 of which are playing audio, 2 of which she can't find, of one of which has been frozen since October, but she daren't close it in case she's lost something important. By 7 a.m, Steve has made tea, eaten his cereal, felt quietly satisfied. Jazz has made coffee, she thinks. Has she? She put the kettle on, then remembered the permission slip, found that permission slip, couldn't find a pen, found a pen, signed it, put it in Ruby's bag, noticed the bag had a broken zip, filed that for later, remembered the coffee, found it, cold, microwaved it, forgot it again, and is now standing in front of the open fridge, trying to remember why she opened the door in the first place. She hasn't sat down yet. She won't sit down for another 40 minutes. Steve does the school run. He's proud of this. He gets Ruby out of the door, into the car, dropped off and back home. He mentions it sometimes in conversations about how they share things fairly. And he does do it. That part is true. What he doesn't do, what he's never had to do, is carry the knowledge that makes the school run possible. He doesn't know which days Ruby needs a packed lunch. He doesn't know the teacher's name, or that Ruby doesn't get on with the girl in the blue coat, or that there's a parents' evening next Thursday that needs a babysitter that they haven't booked yet. He just drives. And don't get me wrong, Jazz is glad he drives. She's grateful, she is, but she loaded the car before he got in it. Mentally, invisibly, before 7 o'clock in the morning, without him knowing, without anyone anywhere acknowledging that this is a second job she clocks into before her first job even starts. Then she gets on the train. And here's where it gets interesting, because Jazz is not the only one going to work this morning. 3 stops down the line, Dan, same job, same team, is also on the train. Dan's listening to a podcast, a football one. He's thinking about one thing, which is a midfielder who had a bad game on Saturday. And he's annoyed about it and hope he'll do better this coming weekend. Dan's not thinking about work yet. Dan won't really think about work until he's at work. It's not a criticism of Dan. It's just Dan. By 9:15, Jazz and Dan are in the same meeting, same room, same agenda, completely different cognitive experiences. Dan opens up his laptop, pulls up his slides, and waits for his moment. When it comes, he speaks clearly, confidently, one clean thought, and then he stops, sits back, job done. Meanwhile, Jazz is doing approximately 7 things simultaneously. She's tracking the agenda and tracking the room. Noticing that the client seems slightly flat today compared to last month, files that, wonders what this means. She's listening to her director and reading the subtext of what he's not saying. She's contributing her actual points and quietly noting that the idea Jess just floated didn't land well and it might affect Jess. She'll have to check in with her later. She's aware that 2 other colleagues haven't made eye contact once since they came in, which means that whatever happened last week is still live and kicking, and someone's going to have to smooth that over before it affects Thursday's deadline. She doesn't consciously decide to track all of this. She just does. She always has just done it. Dan leaves the meeting thinking about lunch. Jazz leaves the meeting exhausted. And the morning hasn't technically been that hard. Nothing went wrong. There wasn't a crisis. It was just the normal, invisible weight of being the person who holds things together in their heads whilst also doing their job. She sits back at her desk. A manager stops by. Dan had some great points in there, didn't he? Jazz nods. She thinks about the 7 things she was doing while Dan was having his one great point. She opens her email. There are 23 of them. She reads the first line of each one simultaneously, triaging, categorizing, flagging, before she's even answered a single one. Dan, meanwhile, is making himself a coffee. Now, this is not a story about a bad morning. It's not a story about an unfair workplace necessarily or an uncaring partner. This is a story about a pattern so deeply embedded that it doesn't announce itself. It just runs quietly and constantly in the background. It takes up space that could be used for something else, something visible, and that moves Jazz forward, something that gets her seen. But instead is consumed every single day before she's even sat down. Mental load isn't a feeling. It's not about you being anxious or about being a worrier. It's work. It's unrecognised, uncompensated, career-costing work. And it has a name. It has a science. And from Wednesday, I bet it'll have your full attention. come back because we need to talk about what this is actually doing to you.
The unspoken rulebook. Know the rules. Own the game.
So this week's entry for the unspoken rulebook is that the mental load is not a personality trait. It isn't about being a worrier, a planner, or someone who just likes things done in a certain way. It is the unpaid, invisible career costing labour. And the first step to doing something about it is refusing to call it anything else. Because here's what nobody tells you. You can't be unshakable at work if you're running a second full-time job in your head before you even walk through the door. And you can't fix what you haven't named. So, Wednesday is the why, what, and how, the science of what's happening and what you can actually do about it. In the meantime, do this for me. Just track your thoughts. How many invisible things are you holding in your head at any one time? And think about what might happen. What would be the worst that could happen if you let some of them drop? Or, heaven forbid, encourage someone else to take a bit of the load from you. That's it from me today on Unshakable Her. If something landed, share it with a woman in your world who needs to hear it. She probably won't say so. She'll just be really glad you did. I'm Caroline Esterson, and you are completely, entirely unshakable. That's it for today. Just more. And of course, hit subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so that Wednesday will automatically pop up. And that's one thing you can take out of your mental load and let automation take action for you. And remember, make your move, even if it's tiny, especially if it's tiny.